This is Christopher Moldong of Chris's Storytelling Corner. Today I'm going to do an anime review for Shimoneta, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. So here's my copy of the Blu-ray. So there you go. Next time I'll have a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 31 and 32, an anime review for the Hunter exam arc for Hunter by Hunter. I will when I review Hunter by Hunter, I'm just gonna go by the arcs, not like by like episodes or anything like that. So I'll do like the Hunter exam arc, and then I'll combine like the Zoldyck arc with the Heavens Arena arc, and then I'll do like New York New City, Greed Island, Chimera and I'll do all the arcs. I read the manga too, so past the anime, so I'll go to those arcs as well. And I'll have a journal for my time at the Los Angeles Comic Con. Check out my Twitter page, my author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. I'd really like to hear from you guys as well, so leave any comments and make sure to subscribe and share this channel as well. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm just going to give a short read the synopsis of Shimoneta. It's going to be pretty short. But then I'm going to give my thoughts on the anime, just like on the characters, pretty much on each character, some of the events that happened in the anime, some of the general ideas that happened in the anime, and yeah, so it'll be pretty extensive, to say the least. So let's start with the plot, the synopsis. It's in a dystopian future. The Japanese government is cracking down on any perceived immoral activity, from using risqué language to distributing lewd materials in the country, to the point where all citizens are forced to wear high-tech devices called peacemakers, PM, at all times that analyze every spoken word and hand motions for any action that could break the law. A new high school student named Tanukichi Okuma, we'll just call him Okuma, enters the country's leading elite public moral school to reunite with his crush and student council president Anna Nishikinomiya, or Anna. He came from like a bad school, pretty much, or bad public, moral school. However, Okuma quickly finds himself entwined with the perverted terrorist Blue Snow when she kidnaps and forces him to join her organization, SOX, in creating and spreading pornographic material across the city as a form of protest against the regulations. So that's it for the plot. But before we get into my thoughts on the anime, I'd like to plug my author's website at www.chrismodon.com, and you can read a new blog post on there every week. Also, do you like anime? Do you like action, adventure, fantasy? Crazy new characters, different worlds? Then buy my book, The Mustard Prince in the Convent Kingdom, for just $4.99 via ebook on Amazon.com or on my author's website. I have taken a lot of inspiration from anime to make The Mustard Prince. Links to buy it will be provided on the page description. Please also subscribe to this channel, as that would really help me out. So let's go with my thoughts. Let's start with the characters of Sulks. We'll start with Okuma. Hold on. Excuse me. So Okuma is the protagonist of the story. He started out. I wouldn't say he's like in love with Anna. At least he seemed more infatuated with her. But I think he wanted to go to the same school as her. So. Um, But he's also the son of an infamous dirty joke terrorist named Zenjiro, who was arrested by moral authorities years ago after trying to spread condoms around the Diet building in defiance of the moral laws. It seems like he finds all these lewd activities that he's doing with Ayame, or with Kajo, to be quite stimulating to some extent, but he denies it. And it's totally obvious that he has romantic feelings for Ayame. I'll call her Ayame, not Kajo. Even though he doesn't approve of her habit of saying anyone knows constantly. Okuma really is like, he's part rebel, part typical male protagonist who has a harem. So let me explain. Obviously, the rebel part is the fact that he's going along with the stuff. Sometimes he's half naked and seemingly S&M gear, as oh man, I forgot his alter ego's name now. He has an alter ego's name, and I totally forgot what it is. But anyways, um, he goes around half naked, spreading this pornographic paraphernalia and whatnot. The guy's a rebel, and at the other side of it, the guy's a total square too. I mean, he's actually, as far as characters go, I wouldn't say he's one of the most interesting characters of the series. I would probably give that to like Anna, um, Ayame, Satome. Those characters are more interesting. Okuma is more of like the more reasonable characters out there, um, which defies what he's doing, because he is kind of the voice of reason, and yet he's not necessarily the first one to volunteer, but he definitely seems to be really into this, you know, into all this lewd activity and whatnot, and obviously isn't afraid to appear in public half naked as well. Um, One thing that's interesting, and this is like typical of a lot of like think of like Tenchi Masaki from Tenchi Muyo. You have like, and this particularly goes with Anna, but you have this girl that I would assume other guys would go after. She is all Anna is all over Okuma. I'm just literally. I mean, she gets naked in front of this guy. I mean, like, literally all over this guy. You know, wants him bad. You know what he does? He runs the other direction. Like seriously. Like I think I mean that literally too. If I can actually think of some episodes, I think there were times when he may have done that, and it's just so typical. I mean, I get it. Anna's a bit crazy. Yeah, tried to rape him. Like, not cool. Especially this day and age. But you know, it's there's just something about him that it is just kind of that square, kind of that like, like what where other guys would probably not resist, he would, he does. But at the same time, on the other side, it's then he'll also do the lewd activities as well. So he has that duality to him for sure. Speaking of duality, Ayame Kajo, who plays Blue, who is Blue Snow. She's the vice president of the student council and daughter of a disgraced former Diet member who unsuccessfully fought against the public morality laws. She secretly acts outside of school as the perverted terrorist Blue Snow. Her father taught her a code she can use on her mobile phone that disables the collars and PMs she wears for 3 minutes a day, allowing her to freely say or do any lewd things during that time. She may have romantic feelings for Okuma. Um, she does. You do see that she does act a bit shy when the two of them are alone. I would say that Okuma probably has more feelings for Ayame than like Ayame has for Okuma at this point. You know, Ayame just kind of she's a bit layered because she's not just doing this for fun. You know, there's a thing with her dad. I think that is one of her driving factors, but I think she definitely represents something else. And it really is this like independence, this I guess in the sense like this other side, because you have this strict morality going on in the society that kind of honestly or arguably goes against human nature. To be this strict with pornography, sex education, and anything to do with sex to this level. I mean, Blue Snow, who goes around like half naked, spreading like pornography in a sense, like Santa Claus or something, um, is just kind of like she kind of just represents what people really want, you know. Well, some people, at least their age. I mean, I can't really think of a male in his teens that probably hasn't seen a naked picture or anything like that. You know, I mean, I would find that personally unheard of. You know, at least in this society. So yeah, she just kind of represents the opposite of like morality and a sense of independence, you know, and it kind of does reflect on like on society where you just have these people, you know, so you have this like really super strict morality law. Well, who's governing? Who's to say what's moral and what isn't? You know, especially if you're just another person. You know, just because you're elite, because you have more money, because you have a position in the government, like what is it? You know, like, and that's what this whole like anime kind of explores. It's just kind of like, okay, well, who are you to say that like you're the moral arbiter? You know, these people who are spreading these laws, and Kajo is just kind of like that that yin to that yang, or if you want to call it, you know, like it's like okay, like she's wants to be independent. She wants to like go. You know, she's not just going against the law just for the sake of going against the law. And a lot of these characters aren't just doing that. They're doing that because like they think the laws are garbage. You know, I mean, you have they have characters that are literally, you know, at gunpoint if they look at pornography, if they do, you know, if they do certain things against, you know, this type of strict morality. And then Ayame just is something well, everyone from Socks. I mean Socks, but like Ayame really is the heart and soul of Socks. Everyone's kind of like that, you know, that a representation of what's going against that. You know, and then you have like Otome Satome, who's the artistic prodigy, whose paintings have won awards and are displayed throughout the school, but she seems kind of bored by it all. She later joined Socks in order to learn how to draw explicit artwork after being educated on the subject by Ayame, and she has taught herself to draw by holding tools with her mouth to avoid her PM sensors because they can sense the like hand motions really. She did have an unrequited crush on Anna, but it kind of disappears after she joined Socks. And it turns out she didn't really like her in that way, but she just kind of mistakenly confused admiration with infatuation. Here's the thing, you know, she's an artist. Okay, this is how I kind of see Saotome, and how she kind of represents something what something else. You know, she's the creative type, the artist type, living in a restricted world. You know what I mean? Like extremely restricted. You can't draw nudity, you can't draw pornography and whatnot. It gets confiscated. You know, there are like she starts drawing like yaoi and stuff like that. But you know, it's I can see why she's bored because like there's this whole other side of humanity and the human condition that she wasn't exposed to, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, like wow, there was nudity, there was sex, there's this, there's that, you know. Oh my god, it's open to me. I can draw it now. You know, so she was like limited to what she can draw, and now it's like, okay, Socks has kind of opened up this new forum for her to draw, and she gets crazy over it. You know, she's obsessed with drawing this stuff and learning about this stuff. And for good reason. She's an artist. She doesn't want to be restricted. You know, and like I said, these laws are restrictive. And as an artist, as a creative person, you really, you know, she wants to go past the restrictions. She wants to go past the limitations. So it's kind of fitting that she's with Socks. Um, there's also Kosuri Onigashira, who's the daughter of Keisuke and a fangirl of Sux, who carries multiple weapons like an air gun and electric stun guns with her. And she'll use tactics that she learned from romantic and shoujo manga to manipulate people, even her allies. Um, Ayame does let her join partly because her hairstyle looks similar to the tip of a penis. At first, she becomes upset with Sux because she felt that they weren't aggressive enough with her tactics and even momentarily defects to Takuma's organization under the presumption that he was more dramatic with his approach. But then she went back to Socks after she finds out that like Takuma was just doing all this as a cover for him to pursue his fetish, and it wasn't really anything of a revolution. And she currently pretends to be Okuma's sister while she hides out at his apartment. The thing with Kosiri is, I think she's a lot like Ayame. I think it's a case of that she's Ayame but she has a different approach. And the fact that she carries the weapons like the stun guns and whatnot, she's not afraid to go manipulate people and whatnot, even her allies. Really goes to show that she has the same goal as Ayame, just a different way of getting there. I also think there's something about her that's something of a fangirl, and she's just kind of swept away with all this revolution and whatnot. She's kind of like this young person that's just like, you know, a word like revolution like sucks, like what they're doing. It's really fascinating. She's young. She doesn't really quite get it. It just seems part of it seems like, she wants a revolution, but she's too immature to actually understand what it entails. And in that sense, then she joins Takuma, because she doesn't know any better. She doesn't really know what this whole thing is all about. And Ayame, who's actually something of a voice of reason, or she's actually something of like she's putting some sort of logic here, you know, as far as like this revelation on why it needs to happen. Kosuri just seems to be swept up in the emotion and passion of it, and that gets her, you know, on the wrong side of things because she sees someone that's more dramatic with his approach. She's drawn to that. She has definitely a more vapid view on what's going on, what this whole revolution's all about. Whereas Ayame, it's a bit deeper. Um, Also gets the Hiyoko Fuwa, who's the budding scientist and a classmate of Okuma, and she is obsessed with solving the mystery behind how babies are truly conceived. Pretty much the Japanese moral authorities have censored everything pertaining to sex ed beyond vague generalities. She got to gynecology clinics and hospitals, but was banned visiting them because she wanted to know the answer. She collects insects to study their reproductive habits, but she's really observant. She's able to deduce Kosiri's manipulative tactics. She can tell a fake gun from a real one. She convinces Oboro, who protects Anna, that her yaoi comics have an educational value, even though Oboro can be very restrictive and strict herself. She believes Okuma may hold the answers to the questions due to his knowledge of sexual terms, and she pesters him constantly to reveal what he knows about pregnancy to her. She's not officially a member of SOX, but she does help them out from time to time, and she is seemingly aware of the identity of the members. She's actually my favorite character. There's something really funny about her. Her curiosity. There's something about her being a scientist, this green-haired scientist who's really curious about sex, pretty much. You know, she's on the cusp, but she doesn't quite. She's not quite there. In that sense, I'm actually a bit surprised she hasn't pulled an Anna yet. I totally expect her to. Honest truth, I really do. Where she's gonna like she's gonna find the answer, and gonna want to test it out, probably with Okuma. I can totally see it happening. I haven't read the manga, so I don't really know. But like, just the way that she is, um, you know, I can just totally see her eventually getting to that point. Um, I like her, like she's pretty much like the honorary member of Sulks. Um, she's the science side of everything, like she's she just wants to know the facts. That's the thing. She wants to know the facts. This restrictive government, ultra moral government, is refusing her to get the facts. So she has to find other ways, unconventional at times, to figure it out. You know? So, yeah, that's the thing with her. Let's get with the student council. Anna, student council president, Okuma's childhood crush, and she's tasked with hunting down Blue Snow before Blue Snow can endanger the morals of the school. After she was accidentally kissed by Okuma, she develops pretty much an obsessive love for him due to her own lack of knowledge on immoral subjects, and ends up expressing her love in extreme tendencies. This includes pursuing him relentlessly and attempting to rape him. She also in um, she has actually endangered Ayame. Actually, stuck a pair of shears like to Ayame's chin when she saw that she was close to Okuma. She makes Okuma eat her love nectar, which you can kind of guess what that is, where it comes from, and wants to obtain his. uh, she does try and become far more harsh and strict on her surveillance, believing that she believes that by doing justice and good things, she'll be loved by him. She does exhibit extreme amounts of strength and dexterity, especially when angered or motivated. Anna, man, whoever made this anime is pretty perverted. I mean, Anna would honestly be something of like some dude's male fantasy. Honest truth. I mean, let's face it. You got this prim and proper girl, kind of outwardly a prude. So much so that she is like the head of this moral police, and she is also like a borderline sexual freak. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. You know what I mean? I mean, she like pretty much forces Okuma to do it with her. I mean, you know, makes him drink her love nectar, puts her love nectar as part of as an ingredient in the cookies that she made for Okuma and Ayame. You know, that's the thing. She's like this prude on the outside, sexual miscreant on the inside, and that is obviously some dudes, some male fantasy right there. I mean, as a character, I liked her. I think she might actually be. She's definitely helps drive the series. I mean, there is no series without Anna. Because there's so much going on with Anna that goes against what she's doing. Like her best friend's a vice president who's Blue Snow, but she's trying to stop Blue Snow. She's trying to get together with Okuma, yet she's a head of moral police. Yet she does things with Okuma that are totally immoral. I mean, she is the epitome of like duality. She looks weak. She is super strong, super, crazy dexterity, agility, and whatnot. You know, she really fits like this opposite end, and Definitely wears her heart on her sleeve. I mean, you know what she's thinking at all times. Um, she's definitely very ignorant of the ways of the world, especially the adult world. And honestly, it let's point back to the society that they live in. They live in this super restrictive, super moral society where someone like Anna obviously can't handle these restrictions. And I mean, like, she's trying to, but her nature goes against the morals that they're trying to implement in this society. And that's the thing. That's the thing with Anna. And if they just taught her about this stuff, maybe she wouldn't be such a freak, or so like Okuma crazy, like. But it's like she has to find out this stuff on her own, and the way she's doing it is the worst way she can do it. It's downright violent, downright threatening to kind of find out like what's going on. Like to figure out this whole thing that she's going through, and like what this whole like sex stuff is. Like um, at the same time, she's like the head of this moral, in a sense, not like the head, but she's definitely one of the top people of like this proverbial moral police. The treasurer of the student council, Raiki Goriki, funny guy. He has a posture and demeanor similar to that of a gorilla, and he hates bananas. He initially distrusts Okuma upon learning that he's Zenjiro's son, but later comes to respect him and care for his well-being after he saves Anna from stalkers, which will let them hospitalized. The other thing with Goriki is it's really unknown if he's just strongly respects Okuma or if he does have romantic feelings towards Okuma. And it's that type of thing. They kind of play it for laughs, like they even have a yaoi with like in the show. They have a yaoi of of Okuma and Goriki. Um, there were times there were times when you know he'll ask about his well-being, but it seems like it's more. Um, and it's just once again, there's kind of a dichotomy because he's this big gorilla looking dude and seems to have, like, seems to be, he's really nice to Okuma. And so in that sense, he's like a lot different. There's other moral authorities like Anna's father, Matsukage Nishikinomiya. He's a National Diet member who is the driving force behind the original public morals law that turned Japan into a highly moral society. He uses the excuse of protecting morality to exert his control over the whole country. We don't get to see much of him, but if there's a season two, he's gonna be the villain. Like at the very end, he finds it interesting what Sulks is doing. Um, Once again, he's the moral arbiter. Okay, well, who made this guy the moral arbiter? You know what I mean? Why is Matsukage Nishiki Nomiya the moral arbiter to our morals and the society? What gives him this power? And you know, he really is um, trying to be, I guess, in a sense, playing God in a sense, in that sense. I guess he knows what's right more than what these other characters knows what's right and what's moral and what not. His morals, and this is the political statement here. His morals somehow supersede everyone else's morals. So everyone has to live by his morals. And if they don't, there are police that will get the characters at gunpoint, arrest them, and whatnot. You know, Sophia, Nishikinomiya is Anna's mother, who's behind a push for an even stricter public morality law than the currently enacted ones. Um, in order to create an ideal world that poses virtually no threat to Anna's chastity. Here's the thing though, man. Anna is her own threat to her own chastity. I mean, that's the thing. You do get to see Sophia. I mean, she definitely is the number two here. She is real strict and whatnot. Um, and it's nice in a sense. There's something fitting to see her plans get foiled by blue snow and whatnot. There's Oboro Tsukimi-gusa. Oboro, who adheres to a strict moral code. He's a prefect trained by Matsukage. That his moral code mostly revolves around protecting Anna from all potentially immoral influences, including items like basketball hoops and toilet paper rolls, apparently. Um, Apparently, though, he has this codified. He has these five provisions, which include the caveat that Obero cannot interfere if Anna herself exhibits lewd behavior or desires. He's really quick to change position on what he's considered illegal when a student protests enough, especially like Fuwa. She'll protest and then he'll just change his position. I mean, at first, Obra presents himself as a woman, but he is biologically male. But Obra does insist that Obra's gender is whatever the assignment requires. Definitely an odd character, I mean, just in the sense that, like, Obra seems to go against his own morals, and it kind of reflects this whole society in a sense where it's like, okay, overall is this prefect, strict moral code, whatnot, but then it's like the morals themselves kind of have this, like, are kind of flawed, and then when Fua kind of just says, hey, I need that magazine for sex, oh, okay, yeah, sure. It's kind of like, okay, it's really easy to point out the flaws in this strict moral code, and and just kind of things just kind of go against Obro's own moral code in a sense. It's like if Anna herself exhibits lewd behavior and desire, it's fine, but you're here to protect Anna from all potentially immoral influences. It's kind of like this weird thing because, in a sense, it's kind of like this weird thing where it's like these immoral influences, these supposed immoral influences, are just silly and absurd, and therefore I can see why Obero kind of, I guess, kind of represents that. It's just like the absurdity of it all and how he acts. You also see an original character, Binkan. She's kind of like this innocent bystander who is often nearby whenever Sox performs another act of aero terrorism. And she's hardly acknowledged by the main characters until the final episode, where it's shown that she's a prefect in training under Obero. We actually don't know Binkan's real name. I like her. I don't know why. Like, she's just kind of, she's, and you know why? She's kind of like this mascot character. You know, like, it's kind of this innocent bystander that just wants, that wants to do well. And that kind of is the mascot for the series. A bystander, these characters that just want to do well, So I liked her. There are some non-Sox terrorists like Keisuke Onigashira, who's the father of Koshiro, who's an aero terrorist, who made deals with the moral authorities, angered other terrorist groups around Japan, as well as his own daughter. Don't know too much about her. Takuma Ichi, or about him, excuse me. Takuma Ichinose, White Peak, the aero terrorist who wraps himself in panties and obsessed with underwear. He has his own concepts of what is considered the best type of underwear, and he's a high class pervert who leads the group Gathered Fabric to steal all kinds of undergarments across Japan, and ends up clashing against Silks because Ayame believes him to be ruining the group's reputation by performing tourist acts such as hijacking public transportation under the claim that the Gathered Fabrics is an ally of Sulks. Ayame eventually confronts him, saying that she only wants to protest against the anti profanity laws, not actively target the Japanese authorities. So he was a funny dude. I mean, talk about someone who just has his own agenda. I mean, this really is a guy for going into the politics of his own of all this. He's just someone with his own agenda that wants to do his own thing in the name of some sort of revolution or whatnot. The guy just wants his underwear. And that's it. He's a funny guy. Really strong too, apparently. Part of that, but he is strong in his convictions. He's strong in his convictions, but it's like his whole purpose is just self-fulfilling and of other self-interest to the point where like his colleagues think that he's going too far sometimes. I mean, that's the thing. He really is a special interest group, you know, or a politician with his own political agenda, whatever you want to say. He is, if you're looking at it through this like political metaphor. There's also Base Black, who was an arrow terrorist who appears in the anime's last episode, and personally knew and worked alongside Zendro and planned to unlock a secret vault filled with erotic treasures using an artifact that was passed down to Okuma. He gathers everyone to resort via false invitations and challenges them to a duel for the artifact. Um, you know, just a supporter. You know, what can I say, you know? Kind of has his own thing going on. Apparently likes the black panties, or the black undergarments. And, yeah, you know, just a funny dude. You know, a funny older gentleman. Um, he has, good intentions, I suppose. uh, As far as some of the relationships here, I already touched on it, but you got to see a lot. Okuma and Anna, I mean, they can work together. Okuma is such a nice guy that he allows Anna to work with him sometimes, but Anna can just kind of step on that landmine, want him a little too much, tries to get it on with him even though he doesn't want it, and I'll say this: that is probably to the chagrin of many a male anime watcher here. You know, despite her methods, I can imagine that some guys are thinking like, "Come on, Okuma, she's right on top of you naked." You know, I can imagine some guys are saying that. To be perfectly honest with you, Okuma and Ayame have a different relationship, though. You know, like they definitely have I wouldn't say love hate, but it's like it's definitely a reluctance on Okuma's side with Ayame. You know, she's so gung ho. You know, and I think it's really easy for a guy like Okuma, who I think wants to be something of a rebel. It's easy to follow her. It's easy to see. In a sense, you do know why he likes her, though. You know, and it's that rebelliousness. You know, it is that what she represents. That I can really see how Okuma likes her. You know, some of the plots to distribute the immoral paraphernalia are just kind of funny. The insect stuff, just drawing. You know, like they have to draw the pornography themselves, distribute it in weird ways and whatnot. I mean, it's pretty funny. You know, the battle against White Peak, downright hilarious. They get on these buses. Some of these guys have fake guns. One of them has the real gun, and they eventually their plans get foiled by Sulks and the student council and whatnot. Um, Takuma gets his plans get foiled. I mean, it goes to show that Ayame's cause is much stronger and deeper than Takuma's cause. There definitely is, and throughout this whole review, I kept saying it. There is, even though it's a comedy, I mean, there really is a deeper narrative with this anime, and it's not a deep anime per se, but if you like think about it and just think of the premise, and it's like it is a bit socio-political. I mean, you really do have something of a thought police going on. It's like you can't even think about anything perverted at one point. They wanted these these undergarments, these like chastity belts, to monitor if guys are apparently getting erections. I mean, you have this idea of this, like, I guess, government that wants to control your own, control morality and tell you, or at least the characters in this world, what is right and what is wrong. What is moral and what isn't, what you can and cannot do, for the sake of some form of utopia that doesn't seem to exist. I mean, it just seems like everyone's gonna do it. They're gonna want to look at pornography. They're gonna be curious about this stuff, especially at a certain age. There is something that goes against what they want, what this government wants in this anime, goes against kind of like what human nature is, and there is that deeper message going on. I don't know if there's going to have a season 2 for the anime. I haven't read the manga. I know that it does continue on in the manga. I would hope that there is a season 2 for the anime. I do like this. I thought it's a fun series. The concept's generally pretty original. It's definitely a good comedy. One of the better modern animes that I've seen in a while. Not like the best. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's like an A or anything, but give it a B. Something like that. So yeah, overall, it's just a fun anime. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel. Thank you for listening to this anime review. Next time, I'll have a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 31 and 32, an anime review for the Hunter exam arc for Hunter by Hunter, and a journal for my time at the Los Angeles Comic Con. Thank you, and until next time.